Your boom pineapple wine, your $1.50 all the time.
There's no real off season when it comes to boating in the Bahamas. I usually do my maintenance during winter time. This lap I'm a bit late. It's March, and I'm just getting to my maintenance list. Apart from my usual list of the engine maintenance and the buffing and waxing, this year I'll be changing out the speakers, changing out the rod holders, and adding a rigging tube to protect the hoses and harness for the engine. I don't have my new speakers just yet. I'm just removing them so I can get the correct size and specs. I have decided to go with Fusion XX series with the lights. So hopefully in the next video I'll be putting those in. I think the Fusion speakers will go well with my Fusion head unit along with my Garmin chart plotter, seeing as though they're all Garmin products. The first task I'll be dealing with on my list is the rigging tool. Before I can install that, I need to disconnect everything that's connected to the engine. Draining the hydraulic steering fluid from the system or disconnecting the hydraulic lines weren't necessary for this install, but I needed to flush the system of its old fluid to install some new steering fluid. I won't add the new fluid in this video or go through the blading process. We'll save that for another video. A little bit of tape to keep the dust out and to mark left and right. There's always that one hidden step at the bottom of every DIYer's list. It's never written down, but it's also never forgotten, and that is make a mess. I'm not even gonna cut out this long stare of disappointment. At least I was able to get more fluid out the system. I'm pretty sure most of the connections going to the engine were exposed to the sun and the environment for most of their life. As it stands at the moment, everything is still functioning properly and in full working order. I'm just installing the rigging tube now just to try and prolong their life a bit longer before I have to start changing out these connections. When the time comes, I hope I'll be changing out the entire motor. Unfortunately, I had to reuse the old rigging boot, and the one I bought was just a bit too small to cover the cutout. My fuel bulb is located right near the engine, so I brought this rigging union so the fuel line can exit the rigging tube, reconnect to the fuel bulb, and connect to the rest of the fuel line. That's where I'll have access to the fuel bulb right near the engine without it being covered or under the deck somewhere. Almost everything I link in the description of the video, so you can just check it out there. With this union, you would have the split shear rigging tube in two and allow the union to clamp onto both sections of the rigging tube. Through this passage, that is where your fuel line exits the union and connects to the rest of your fuel line. All of the connections are pretty stiff, so I could just slide them through the tubes without having to use a pull line or a snake or anything like that. At this point, the only thing that's left to do was route all the connections back to the motor and get them connected. This part was a bit annoying for me. I had to rearrange all of the connections in a certain order for them to fit in the factory's rigging grommet that connects to the engine's cowling. I quit filming here because this took me multiple tries. Every time I needed to rearrange the connections, I would have to remove the entire rigging tool and adjust it at the cutout and lead that adjustment all the way to the end of the rigging tube. And this is the setup we're working with now. I feel it looks way much better, much cleaner. and it makes the boat feel so much better. Just not having all of those connections strung across the transom like that. It feels less junky and way less cluttered.